Hello, Ramya Subramanian, and welcome to Galattaplus. Uh, this is something we're going to be talking about. Stop waiting. எனக்கு ஆக்சுவலி நீங்கள் இந்த புக் கொடுத்தப்போ I was one of the first things that struck me was, I mean, obviously, the minute you get a book, you read what's
Yeah,
behind, right?
yeah.
It's like kind of thing. And one of the things that was like today, Ramya is healthier and happier than she has ever been, and I think that's just so amazing for like at any life level. Like that's what everybody wants, right? Health and happiness. I'm just going to begin with a slightly vague note. We'll talk about your film and all that later, but happiness na enna?
Happinessனா எனக்கு வந்து a state of mind where there's no anxiety, there's no tension, there's nothing which I'm doing forcefully.
Okay,
In one word சொல்லணும்னா peace.
okay,
I think peace is happiness for me today.
right. And you're peaceful.
I'm very peaceful.
You know, there are very few people who will say this.
I know. I can't believe I'm also saying this.
Yeah, and what has brought about this peace?
Actually, I started too young. Working, I started around 16 when I was in school. அப்போலேருந்து this whole entry into television, uh, going into a space where I had no idea what I'll be
Right,
facing with,
right.
and handling the people, handling myself, handling the attention on me. It had its own repercussions. அதெல்லாம் கூட நான் எழுதியிருக்கேன். And அது எல்லாமே எனக்கு என்ன வந்து I was chasing somewhere and I didn't know where I was running. அந்த ஒரு 10 years, 12 years of that, it kind of made me sit down after I experienced a burnout, think about what is important in my life, என்னோட priorities என்ன அதெல்லாம் segment பண்ணி பார்க்கும்பொழுது I realized this is exactly it. We're all end of the day wanting happiness, peace and freedom. So இது மூணு தான் என் priorityன்னு சொல்லி when I changed the game a little, I think I arrived here.
Did you have a coach, like a life coach or something like that?
No, I wish I am my own coach.
You're your own coach,
Yeah.
and you arrived at this yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant because one of the things, I'll tell you why, because I always believe that there are two types of people. One, they follow a pre-programmed life, where, they do exactly what their dad did or their grandfather did, which is to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm school, and then I'm going to do engineering, and then I'm going to do, I don't know, some MBA or something, and then I'm going to get a job. And for them, a salary is basically a way of just something you get at the end of the month so that you live a nice life, and that's all that they care about. But then there is this other set of people who want to do something that is an extension of their personality, which means that they really care about what work they do. They're not like, my work is just a way to get a monthly salary.
Right.
அவங்களுக்கு வந்து work is a way to, maybe you could call it an extension of their personality. They want to prove something with their work. They want to like really I'm not talking about just about creative people. I'm talking about even somebody like Steve Jobs, for instance.
I got it.
Because there's so many people who could have done something. He wanted to, like, or Zuckerberg or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Of course, apart from people being in films. But the thing with this set of people is that because they're always running and searching, like you said, they never find that inner peace. Because if I become like an actor, I'm always worried, how long will this stardom last? Or if I
Yes.
become something else, I'm always worried, oh, this guy's had two big hits this year, நம்மளுக்கு ஹிட்டே வரல. There's all these
The trap, Villa. And also externally, I feel when you go somewhere, even if probably you want to take a sabbatical, not work or do something, நீங்க அடுத்து என்ன ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ண போறீங்க, ஏன் இவ்வளவு நாள் நீங்க டிவிலேயே வரல, அவங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது பிரச்சனையா, these things will actually haunt you. And thanks to social media now,
right,
where there's so much spoken about everything, so much spoken about things we don't even say. So it's a very creative, different career you, me, all of us are part of, which I think only our world will understand. And the flashy life vella irukku, it looks like it's all rosy, you're very successful, you're making money, you're having the fame, popularity, and I agree. And it does come with a price which we are prepared for. Having said that, it's a very challenging life, and at some point we need to accept it. And the acceptance in our chinna vayasilaye vandu, I didn't know what this was involving.
right.
So it took some time for me to settle down.
What were the challenges?
The challenge was that I never realized, like for me, I love my job of anchoring. So when I had the opportunity to, I went in, and then I had some great offers. I started doing it. I was happy. That's all for me. But அதோட வர விஷயம் வந்து the kind of criticisms made by people who worked with me also, the remarks made on my clothes, on my makeup, on my body. And I was a little girl who used to cry. "Enna patti ipdi pesadinga, enna tease pannadinga." I didn't know how to
But
retaliate.
then, like, were they friendly remarks or cruel things?
It was kind of, you can't call them friendly. இந்த மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு வந்து பூஷணிக்கா மாதிரி இருக்கீங்க
Oh,
அப்படின்னு
wow.
சொல்றதோ.
Okay, okay. Oh.
You know, the kind of remarks made about your makeup, it's supposed to be funny. It's done in a comical way. It still happens, right? You see the television shows where people make remarks and everybody laughs about it.
Right.
But at least now there's a hashtag body shaming coming up. Back then, I didn't have that access. Adnala, it used to hurt me badly. I'll cry, but I didn't know much to do. And when I step out, they'll be like, டிவியில் அப்படி இருக்கீங்க, நேர அழகா இருக்கீங்க. என்ன அர்த்தம்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. டிவியில் வந்து கொஞ்சம் குண்டா தெரியுறீங்க. All these things were really for a little girl bursting that happiness. வெளில போக மாட்டேன், ரொம்ப socialize பண்ண மாட்டேன். I used to be in a shell. பயப்படுவேன் போய் socialize பண்றதுக்கு. It was two extremes. I'm standing on a stage where I'm talking to 1,000 people hosting a show. But the other end of me was like, I don't even want to step out of my house because I'm scared what people are going to tell me and it'll hurt me. I think I'm a very emotional, sensitive person that way.
Right.
So those were the beginning of the stages. And then once social media started booming a couple of years before, it was getting too personal. At least when social media was not there when I entered, whatever people had to say, they had to come and say. But இப்போ வந்து it was literally like everything is out.
Right.
So repeat offenderன்னு சொல்லி போடுற clothes வந்து tag பண்றதுல இருந்து, about getting into my personal life, commenting on my decisions without knowing what's happening.
Right.
It affecting my family, my
Yeah.
immediate family. These are all the layers I could put forth to you.
So these are things that happened, and like your professional stuff, your personal stuff, all these things. And when did that acceptance come about that you talked about?
I think at some point I was like completely depressed such that I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to wake up and do anything. I didn't feel there was a purpose in my life. And just randomly one day, I'd done all these crazy diets during the phase when I was young because people used to comment and I had to do something about
Right.
it. Adnala crash diets, over workout pani, like 2 hours running on the treadmill for no reason. I think my age was an added advantage. It could pull me off through all of those things. But at some point of time when I was depressed, I just, one day after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of not eating anything, not doing anything, I decided to go do something. So I just went and checked out a place nearby where people were doing workouts. I just joined with them. Nobody even knew me. I loved it. So on the first day workout kapron, that endorphin release na solluvangle, that gave me a little hope in life. So I started going the next day. And then I started overdoing that 2 times, 3 times, because on the 1 hour na workout பண்ணும்போது matram, my thoughts will not go anywhere.
Right.
As soon as it is done, I'll get back on track and again feel depressed. So this was the thing I caught on. And then that time I had a personal trainer who told me, if you're so into this and this is helping you, you being a celebrity and all that, you should talk about it. You should help other people. Probably you could hit powerlifting. So I participated in the district and state level powerlifting competition. I took the gold in bench and deadlift and all that. I think that was the shift for me.
And that was how many years ago?
About 5 years ago.
Okay. So that's when you transformed. So
I could say so. Because I started learning. I got curious. இவ்வளவு வருஷம் நான் என்ன தப்பா பண்ணிருந்தேன் for it to not work? Why is it working now? So then I was very curiously looking at what I'm eating, how it is equalizing to how I'm putting on a strength and muscle,
Right.
losing the fat. I wanted to study about it. So I studied in this Institute of Integrative Nutrition, ஒரு course பண்ணேன் நியூயார்க்ல ஒரு அகாடமில, a 2-year course. Became a health coach. By this time, I opened up a channel, YouTube channel, and started putting out content.
Right.
So people thought I'm like a dietitian and all that, and I was not too comfortable saying things which worked for me because என்னோட food வந்து உங்களோட poison இருக்கலாம். And who am I to just give some opinion?
Yeah.
So அதனால I structured it in a professional way, and yeah, now I can say that I can help people.
Right. So we'll come back to this. But you also have a parallel career. You just, compared the Varisu audio launch. You do things like that. So there's a certain demand for you in that space as well. நீங்க வந்து ஆக்டிங் பண்றீங்க. நீங்க ஒரு தெலுங்கு படம் இப்போ நந்தினி ரெட்டியோட, you just told me this morning that you were doing a film with her. How do you like, what is it that yes, you wanted to get into this what did you say? Peaceful,
Healthy, happy.
happy. Sorry, you wanted to get into this peaceful, healthy, happy space, and that you've gotten into. But those are more of internal goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are your like
Career goals?
career goals? Yeah.
My career goals is I wanted to figure out my purpose of life. Like I started anchoring when I was 16. So by the time I did about 5, 6 years of it, I think I'm in it a person who's not too happy staying in the same space. I like getting into uncomfortable zones. So இப்போ வந்து நீங்க தூக்கத்துல என்னை எழுப்பி விட்டு போய் ஒரு ஷோ ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணணும்னா கூட நான் பண்ணிடுவேன். அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் எனக்கு ரீச் ஆகும்போது it became very monotonous for me.
Right.
And again, the content we see on television, which is about mocking people, making fun of it, சின்ன குழந்தைங்களை வந்து ரியாலிட்டி ஷோஸ்ல வந்து அழ வைக்கிறதும், I didn't really enjoy that space. I didn't want to be part of it at least. So I took a sabbatical, and then my purpose of life now I feel is to help especially women who so badly are clueless about how to handle their body. This body shaming, mental issues. I feel like this is my purpose of life. I feel so happy when somebody walks up to me, not for a selfie because I hosted something or for my popularity, but say like I am now pregnant because I lost my weight and I had some PCOS issues or this and that, and
Right.
அதனால இதுதான் என் ப்ரையாரிட்டி இப்போ இருக்கு. அண்ட் ஆல்சோ கோயிங் பேக் டு வாட் வி ஸ்போக் earlier, நம்ம கரியர்ல இருக்கும்பொழுது இஃப் ஐ ஹேவ் டு மேக் அ ஃபிலிம் சாய்ஸ், இஃப் திஸ் இஸ் மை ஒன்லி பிரெட் அண்ட் பட்டர், I have to do a lot of compromises. எனக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கோ பிடிக்கலையோ, for the sake of that bread and butter, maybe I have to do a film or anchoring. எனக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கோ பிடிக்கலையோ, நான் என்ஜாய் பண்றேனோ இல்லையோ, lot of decisions would be affected.
Yeah.
Now I feel like with this being stable for me, the films I do, நான் இதுக்கு முன்னாடி தமிழ்ல பண்ணது மாஸ்டர் தான். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு பெரிய கேப். இப்போ வந்து டைரக்டர் சாந்தகுமாரோட படம் பண்றேன். But I am happily doing it because I like the role. I did get a lot of offers in between, but it was all stereotyping and monotonous and the same kind of roles, and I didn't want to do them. So I could say no, not thinking like, ஐயோ இப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், அடுத்து வீட்லயே உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்கோமே, அந்த ஆங்ஸைட்டி எனக்குள்ள இல்ல. So the health coach is the first one now. அதுக்கப்புறம் I would say acting because I'm really enjoying getting into different character space and doing something. அதுக்கப்புறம் anchoring, which again is something not that I don't enjoy it anymore,
Yeah.
but அது ரேரா ஒரு எக்ஸைட்டிங்கான ப்ராஜெக்டா இருந்தா I'd be happy to do. If it's like every week, every single day holding a mic and saying something, I feel like I might not do my best.
Right. I mean, that's one of the reasons, I wanted to talk to you, because usually in this channel we talk to people who are in the film line.
Right.
But that's their bread and butter, நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி. But you're like actually you push that down a notch and saying this is now my bread and butter.
But isn't that better? Like
It's better.
We
This
do the
butter is
job
better.
That's a
Yeah,
nice
I
one.
know. So
We do the job better this way. We are so passionate about it. I remember many years back when I was watching a Coffee with Karan episode, ஹேமாலினி மேம் வந்து அவங்க ஷூட்டுக்கு போகும்போது இன்னைக்கு என்ன ஹாப்பியா சேடா லாஃபா சிங் டான்ஸான்னு கேட்பாங்களாம். I could relate to it at some point of time. I always used to feel நான் ஆங்கரிங் பண்ணும்போது இன்னைக்கு என்ன ரியாலிட்டி ஷோவா, மியூசிக் ஷோவா, டான்ஸ் ஷோவா, இப்படி. இப்போ இட்ஸ் எக்ஸைட்டிங். இன்னைக்கு நான் ரொம்ப நாள் கழிச்சு ஆங்கரிங் பண்றேங்கும் போது ஐம் சோ ஹாப்பி டு டூ இட். ரொம்ப நாள் கழிச்சு ஒரு ஆக்டிங் ஜாப் இருக்கு எனக்கு. ஐ ஹவ் டு கெட் இன் டு த ஸ்பேஸ் ஆஃப் அ கேரக்டர். ஸோ கிக்ட். And I know back home I have something, which also is entrepreneurship, which is more about giving back to the society. I love it.
what is that about?
Giving back to the society. So this entrepreneurship is my brand called Stay Fit with Ramya, which I've launched. It has all these virtual online programs, 1:1 programs, and workshops which I conduct, all just for the women who live in India and outside India also, where I kind of help them with the problems that they have. The 1:1 programs, I will probably coach them, give them a nutritionist, a personal trainer. They can do these workouts. They achieve their goals through me as a medium in that website.
It's kind of also true that the fame that you got through the entertainment industry is kind of helping you now, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It all began there. I think if I was a nobody and I was doing all of this, இவ்வளவு attention கண்டிப்பா கிடைச்சிருக்காது. 100%. That is why I also want to stabilize this. I don't want to completely give away this career because I have a passion here. It's just that when I want to do a movie, I want to connect with the people who are able to think the way I think,
Right.
who do not objectify women, who present the characters in a nice form. And I have my comfort space also. இந்த டாட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கனெக்ட் பண்ணி வரது இஸ் a rarity, you know it.
Yeah.
அது நடக்கிற வரைக்கும் நான் வெயிட் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும்.
And this is great that you've actually managed to, and இது சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, don't put all your eggs in one basket and மாதிரி. This is something like that, you know, you've got this career going, you've got this career going, you've got this career going. Let's talk about your films. What are you working on right now?
So there are 2 films.
You told me about Santhokumar's film and Nandini Reddy's film. Those are the two.
Those are the 2 films I'm working on. Nandini Reddy's film is done. It's going to be released in March. The movie's name is Anni Manchi Shakunamale, directed by Nandini Reddy. அது வந்து ஒரு Telugu film, my first Telugu film officially. I've also dubbed for the film. So I'm excited where that's going to go because while working on the film, I figured ஏன் எல்லாரும் வந்து தெலுங்கு படம் நிறையா பண்ணணும்னு ஆசைப்படுறாங்கன்னு, the kind of adoration and respect they give, the way they treat our Tamil actors, I really loved it. And I started picking up the language. The people I admired watching in Telugu films, they all acted with me. So it was fun to
Who else
shoot
is
with
there
them.
in the movie?
The hero is a new person. His name is Santhosh. Heroine is Malvika Nair. Cuckoo, தமிழ்ல நடிச்சிருந்தாங்களே அவங்க. Vanilla Kishore, Rao Ramesh Garu, all the regular Naresh Garu, they're all acting with me. So this is like a proper family film.
Right.
And Swapna Dutt is the producer.
Right.
So pretty excited about the film in Telugu. And after this is director Shanthakumar's film in Tamil. அது வந்து we just shooting. நான் இப்போ தான் ஒரு schedule கொடைக்கானல்ல முடிச்சிட்டு வந்தேன். Arjun Das is the hero of the film.
Okay.
So that's another new territory I'm exploring, and I'm loving the experience of working with directors.
Right. So can you give a sample of when you say new territory, and earlier you used the word connect the dots. So there are all these things that you expect out of a role.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell, for instance, in Shanthakumar's role, without revealing too much,
Okay.
என்ன மாதிரி ரோல்?
ஸோ என்னன்னா எனக்கு ப்ராப்ளம் ஏன் நான் நிறைய படம் பண்ண முடியாம இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, என்னை பார்த்தாலே உடனே வந்து விஜே, ரிப்போர்ட்டர், இந்த ஆர்ஜே இதுதான் வந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு. And I don't want to do that. I want to be a serious actor. Directors want to use the fame that I have got, but I want to do something as an actor. அதுக்கு தான் I'm wanting to do films, which is why a lot of times I'm not doing. இப்போ நான் சொன்ன இந்த படங்கள் எல்லாத்துலேயுமே the graph, the connecting the dots is what I mean is I'm not doing any of that. இப்போ டைரக்டர் சாந்தகுமாரோட படத்தில் இது வரைக்கும் நான் காமெடிலாம் பண்ணதே இல்லை. I have a comedy space.
Nice.
And it's not that I'm a good girl, it's not that I'm a bad girl, it's a very mixed thing. You'll know when you watch the film. If I talk about Nandini Reddy's film, again, it's not that I appear in 2 scenes and vanish away. படத்தோட full graphலயும் நான் இருக்கேன். And there is a story for me. There's a part before my marriage, after my marriage. So I love to do a film where there's more scope. I want people to remember me when they come out of the theater.
Right.
அது நடக்கும். And if there's some scope for me to perform, I really would do it.
Movie career is a strange career because you also, a lot of people end up doing films not just because they like the role, but also because they want to be visible.
Yeah.
இல்லையா?
Correct.
அது நீங்களே
கண்டிப்பா
ஆரம்பத்துல when you were doing certain films,
ஆமா,
because like if I lose this, then I don't know, like this way more people get to see me.
Yeah.
So அந்த மாதிரி,
yeah,
now all that is gone.
yeah, 100%. Thanks to the sideல
Thanks to
stop waiting.
stop waiting. Yes.
In fact, in the book வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் people are like, you should, reach out to all the corporates and become a speaker, TED speaker,
like a
and all that.
motivational speaker.
Like a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that. So ஒரு இடம் ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது, that's the thing with me. I think in my life, நானுமே வந்து being born in a conservative family, I was thinking in my head, 20 வயசுல ஒரு கிராஜுவேஷன் முடிச்சுட்டு 23ல மேரேஜ் முடிச்சுட்டு அப்படியே will settle down அப்படின்னு தான். But strangely, I can't believe I can say that I'm an author now. Nothing was planned. It all just got on its own, and I'm just taking that energy and doing something out of it.
Right.
That's the thing.
I'm glad you said that because it's also that we hesitate using words like energy and all that because we think that other people are going to, I don't know, find it weird or something like that, because the easiest thing is to say that like it's all God's plan, or this is what life is, or whatever it is. It's like, it's almost like they're not taking responsibility for their own
it's
actions.
A signal, right? You get a signal somewhere. It might be crazy when I say this, but sometimes when I stop the car and I think for a minute about something, that's an idea. I'll immediately open my phone and write it on the notepad. And then the only good thing which I can say about myself, which my friends often appreciate, is that I don't just settle down. For me, I always keep thinking on the idea vachi enna pannalaanu.
Right.
Even when it comes to fitness, when I put up something on my Instagram and people are like, இதெல்லாம் இப்படி பண்றீங்க, எங்களால முடியவே இல்லை அப்படிங்கும்போது, the only thing I say is, நம்ம நிறைய பேர் அதை பெட்ல உட்காந்து யோசிக்கிறோம். அது எழுந்து வந்து அந்த ஜிம்முக்கு போனா போதும். அதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாமே நடந்துரும். அந்த டிராவல் மட்டும்தான் இஸ் த ஷிஃப்ட்.
Yeah.
And I feel life has been in a way very challenging for me because I started young. That I always in my head think is unless you work hard, you'll never get anything. That's a proven fact in my life.
And that was a period where you did well, like that was a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done like காலையில ஒரு ஆடியோ லான்ச், மத்தியானம் ஒரு ஆடியோ லான்ச், ஈவினிங் ஒரு ஆடியோ லான்ச். பீப்புள் யூஸ் டு மேக் ஃபன். லைக் டைரக்டர் பாண்டியராஜ்லாம் ஐ ஸ்டில் ரிமெம்பர் வந்து பேசாம உங்களுக்கு சத்யம் தேட்டர் மாடியில ஒரு ரூம் எடுத்து கொடுத்துடலாம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நீங்க எதுக்கு வீட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு வரீங்க அப்படின்னு. they keep seeing the same face again and again, right? அவங்க கெஸ்டா வந்துட்டே இருப்பாங்க, நான் ஆங்கரிங் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பேன். I was overdoing it. And I didn't have a plan. இன்னைக்கு என்ன நல்ல விஷயம்னா I feel even all the youngsters, they come with a plan, a strategy, saying 2 வருஷம் டெலிவிஷன்ல இருப்போம், அப்படியே நாங்க வந்து ஃபிலிம்ஸ் போயிடுவோம், அப்படியே வந்து நடுவுல ஏதாவது ரியாலிட்டி ஷோ பிக் பாஸ்ல வந்து பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணுவோம். திஸ் a கேம் பிளான். நான் வந்து எனக்கு வரதெல்லாம் நான் செய்றேன். அது சின்ன ஷோ பெரிய ஷோ அதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. எனக்கு வந்து கூப்பிடுங்க நான் வந்துருவேன். அந்த மாதிரி one approach I was doing.
But you're kind of still doing that, right? Because it's like if it comes to me, then I'm going to consider it and then see what.
Not really. இப்போ வந்து when they call me for anchoring for everything, unless it feels like okay, this is going to be something exciting for me,
Okay.
I'm not able to say yes. I'm very frank to them also. I just tell them this, that just சும்மா வந்து நான் ஓகே எனக்கு காசு கிடைக்குது இன்னைக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஈவெண்ட் பண்றதுல லாஜிக்கே இல்லை. I want to feel excited about it. நான் இப்போ விஜய் சாரோட வாரிசு ஆடியோ லான்ச் பண்ணதுக்கு முன்னாடி I haven't done something in the last many months.
So tell me, I mean, you're so sorted in so many ways. You know what you want. You're very aware. But you also know that when you're doing an audio launch for a Vijay film, there's going to be a certain level of hysteria involved.
Yeah.
There's going to be a certain level of you have to keep praising people. You have to keep like talking in a way that is not you.
Yeah.
Like you have to amp up everything.
Yeah, hype it up.
Hype it up,
Yeah,
and you have to
yeah.
like sometimes probably do things that you're not comfortable with, or like so. But having settled into a zone where you're saying that I want to do things that make me okay, how do you handle this, which is a little away from your personality?
So I'm used to it because that's where it all started. So I know that that's not Ramya. That's Ramya, the anchor
That's
who's
VJ
good.
Ramya,
That's
whoever
VJ
it is.
Ramya, yeah, who goes, does it and come back. Secondly, the immediate people I'm involved with, like for example, actor Vijay அப்படிங்கிறவரை வந்து there is an audience who are like crazy about him. And I know the person, he is also in this travel as an anchor, working with him in the film and all that. So I really admire the person in him. And he and me have a certain wavelength which clicks.
Okay.
So I don't want to lose an opportunity where, it's coming from that team. I can do something there. அப்படிங்கும்போது the heart says yes, go for it.
Okay. So that's why you'll still look for a personal connection.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Okay. All right.
100%.
What is your advice to? I'm going to ask a number of things, but what is your advice to people who want to make it as a VJ?
VJ anchor for what is the first thing I would want to ask them. Is it for the fame and money and the attention, or do you really like the job? So if it is a former, then it's not going to be sustaining for long because it's everybody coming in and washing away. If it's for the latter, I really appreciate that. But it comes with a price, and I want them to first. I want to burst the bubble first.
What is the price?
Everything is going to be judged. Everything is going to be ridiculed. You're personally going to be attacked.
அது எல்லாருக்கும் தானே. I mean, anybody in the limelight, right?
Anybody in the limelight. அதை யாருமே கொஸ்டின் பண்றதே இல்லையே. இப்பெல்லாம் வந்து எனக்கு ஃபேம், அட்டென்ஷன், பாப்புலாரிட்டி அதை மட்டும் தான் பாக்குறாங்க. இது வரும்போது immediately like this is not fair. எனக்கு அது வேணும், ஆனா இது எனக்கு வரக்கூடாது. அப்படிதான் they thinking.
Right.
But I want to say, because when I came, there was no social media. நான் இதெல்லாம் இருந்ததுன்னா, looking back, I don't know if I would have chosen the job.
Yeah.
Somewhere down along the line, I felt like, oh my God, இதெல்லாம் நான் எதிர்பார்க்கல. Everything is happening. Every decision you make in your personal journey, from the kind of clothes you wear, where you sit, how your wall in the house is, everything is remarked. There are stalkers. There are people. Sometimes it's very scary for me to jog on the road. When I sit in the theater and watch the film, I would get some direct message on Instagram saying that I'm just 3 rows behind you.
Oh.
So it's and that too, if you're a woman, it's scary, right? If you're a single woman, it's definitely scary. So இதுதான் நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொல்லணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதை மீறி நல்ல விஷயமா சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா keep practicing is what I say. It's the same what I'm sure you would also have enough to say about this. நான் வந்து somewhere I remember when I was like a child watching Pepsi Umaவோட ஷோஸ்லாம் and wow இவங்கலாம் எப்படி பேசுறாங்க அழகா இருக்காங்களே அப்படின்னு it manifested.
Right.
That's where I became an anchor. So you really need to want it so badly, be good at it. நான் தமிழ்ல வந்து 94.6 ஸ்டேட் லெவல்ல வாங்கினேன் 12th.
இதுக்கு எல்லாரும் வந்து இப்ப நான் ஏன் இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசுறேன்னு சொல்ல போறாங்க அது கமெண்ட்ஸ்ல. That's
நீங்க
what's
தான்
going to
பேசுறீங்கன்னு சொல்லிடுவேன். பட் ஆனா வந்து அந்த தமிழ்ல வச்சுட்டு நீ என்ன பண்ண போறேன்னு வீட்ல எல்லாரும் சிரிக்கும் போது ஐ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் an answer. தோ இன்னைக்கு வந்து அந்த ஜாப் எனக்கு தமிழ்ல இருக்கிறதுனால ஐ ஃபீல் லைக் ஐம் டிஸ்டிங்க்ட்லி ஸ்டாண்டிங் அவுட். ஸோ யூ நீட் டு வாண்ட் இட் பேட்லி, யூ நீட் டு கீப் ப்ராக்டிசிங், பி கான்ஃபிடென்ட் இன் த ஸ்டேஜ். ஒருத்தர் பார்த்து பேசுறதுக்கு பயப்படக்கூடாது, எவ்வளோ பேர் நம்ம முன்னாடி இருக்காங்கங்கிறத பற்றி கவலைப்படக்கூடாது. இது எல்லாமே. அண்ட் one important thing I want to say is keep upgrading yourself, reading the news, என்ன பேசணும் பேசக்கூடாது, knowing your barriers and limitations. I think that's very important.
Right. So what will be your advice to somebody who wants to become an actor?
I don't think I'm an expert to talk about
No,
that.
but with your journey, like you've had a, you transitioned, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So again, be very clear on the path you want to choose. Is it the commercial stream, or is it the real kind of serious films where you're an actor? Do you want to like make fun, or do you want to get serious, toiling your body, toiling your mind and doing things? That's the first thing. எனக்கு வந்து ஆக்டிங்க்கு அட்வைஸ் கொடுக்குற லெவலுக்கு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கிடையாது. ஐ டென்ட் கோ இன்டு an acting school, பட் ஐம் a real actor in the sense எனக்கு வந்து சிரிச்சுக்கிட்டே பேசிட்டு ஐம் சீயிங் ஆக்டர்ஸ் அரவுண்ட் மீ. சமுத்திரக்கணி சார்லாம் ஜாலியாக சிரிச்சுட்டு பேசிட்டே இருப்பாரு. டக்குன்னு ஆக்ஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் ஒரு பயங்கர சோக சீன்னா கண்ணிலேருந்து பொல தண்ணி வரும். I can't do that. If it's a serious scene for me, I'll go and shut myself separately. I'll start thinking about things which are making me really down and depressed, and then get into the more of the character. So I'll need my time. I'll go and tell the director, please, I'm not an expert, and time கொடுங்க. And the first few takesல வரது தான் என்னோட பெஸ்ட் ஆக்டிங்காக இது வரைக்கும் எப்பவுமே இருந்திருக்கு. The more the takes go, the more it becomes very plastic for me. I've also heard that from other people around me who are working. So ஆக்டிங்ல இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்றதுக்கு நிறைய படம் பார்க்கணும்ட்டு இல்லை. அகெயின் இட்ஸ் செல்ஃப் ப்ராக்டிஸ், shooting. I remember when I decided to give this a shot, and when Mani sir said, okay, you're going to work in my film, I didn't want to screw up in front of him.
That was your first?
Yeah. Okay, company.
Okay, all right. Was there something else before that?
No.
Something that released before that?
Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, in the மொழி மங்காத்தாலலாம் வந்து ஒரு one lineக்கு
Yeah, I thought, that's
அது பேரு acting
No,
தான்.
I mean, you were in films before. That's what I meant. Okay, okay.
I was not even prepared for it. Like நான் சும்மா அங்க ஷூட்டிங்க்கு போயிருப்பேன், அப்படியே ஒரு லைன் சொல்லிடுங்களேன் அப்படிம்பாங்க. It was I in my head, okay company is when at least I had a character name or a presence. So அது அந்த டயத்துல தான் நான் வந்து இந்த ஸ்டானிஸ்லவ்ஸ்கியோட புக்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து படிக்கிறது, அதுல வந்து என்ன சொல்றாங்களோ அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் அப்சர்வ் பண்றது. Then I used to have a selfie stick at home, just shoot myself and go and see how it is. இந்த மாதிரி குட்டி குட்டியா பண்ணேன். Not that any of it worked for me later. I think every director is very different.
Yeah.
So I really follow what my director wants, and I don't want to goof up. One thing I do is lines வந்து clear-ஆ that's an advantage for me also, knowing the language. Linesல வந்து I'll be very clear. I wouldn't goof up there at all.
The language you're not speaking right now.
கொஞ்சம் பேச ஆரம்பிச்சிருந்தோமோ இப்போ. அது வந்து தெலுங்குலயுமே it helped me அந்த விதத்துல. that முன்னாடியே லைன்ஸ் வாங்கி படிச்சதுனால தான் நீங்க டப் பண்ணிடுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க.
That's amazing. So you did not know Telugu at all?
I didn't know at all. Okay. Now ஆனா படம் நடிக்கும்பொழுது I had a tutor. I personally wanted to learn. So then I asked this tutor to coach me and all that. And then now I can manage. இப்போ நான் ஹைதராபாத் போனா ஒரு லெவலுக்கு தெலுங்குல பேச முடியும்.
You know what? It really strikes me as this fact that you said that you read a books about method or method acting, or whether you took a selfie stick to see what you looked like and all that. Do you take everything in life very seriously?
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a problem. I'm just like,
no, that's like I said, that's my personality. It's just that எல்லாமே கஷ்டப்பட்டா தான் கிடைக்கும்ன்ற மாதிரி நான் வளர்க்கப்பட்டுட்டேன். Through the way my parents coached me, இந்த luck ஈஸியா ஒன்று நடந்துரும், அது மேல எனக்கு நம்பிக்கையே இல்லை.
Actually, that never happens.
No, for some people I feel like
no, but they have it in them. They just happen to be there at the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
that's all. I mean, but it doesn't. But that if you don't have that effort, you cannot sustain.
I feel like I have to really give every bit of what I have in me if I want something so badly. I can't just breeze through அப்படியே உட்காந்துட்டு அந்த இடத்துல வந்து it should happen அப்படின்றது என் லைஃப்ல நடக்காததுனால from the time I studied for my exams. I used to wake up at 3 in the morning and study, for a social studies history paper or whatever. I'm very competitive also. நல்ல மார்க் எடுக்கணும். இப்போ நான் வந்து உங்ககிட்ட சொன்னேன் 2 நாளுக்கு அப்புறம் நான் ஒரு மேரத்தான் ஓட போறேன்னு. ஒரு வாரமா ஐம் ப்ராக்டிசிங். மை ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் ஆர் லாஃபிங். இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் அ மேரத்தான். இட்ஸ் ஓகே. கண்டிப்பா 3 மணி நேரத்துக்குள்ள நம்ம முடிச்சிடலாம். 3 மணி நேரத்துக்குள்ள முடிக்கக்கூடாது. 1 மணி நேரத்துக்குள்ள முடிக்கணும். அதான் வந்து என்னோட கோல் அப்படின்னு
Wow.
சொல்லி I'm doing.
You're also a very driven person then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why probably everybody thinks like very serious I am. I do have a funny side, which
No, funny is different. That's how you unwind. But I'm talking approach to
life is very
work
serious.
and life and that
Very
kind of
serious.
yeah. See, I'm not a big believer in self-help books, right? I honestly want to tell you that this book really, really resonated with me because there was a personal psychological journey that went through it. Otherwise, I never go near self-help books. I'm a fiction guy. I
Oh.
don't like self-help books because they all tell you things that they assume, because I firmly believe that everybody is different.
Yeah.
So you can unless you're giving one-on-one classes, self-help books typically for me don't make any sense. You know, it's like they tell you the same thing. Obey, rise to the morning. Obey
5 a.m. club.
Yeah, obey the circadian rhythms. And the மாதிரி ஏதாவது ரொம்ப generic
ஆமா,
but you know
ஆமா.
things which everybody like recently I tell you a book that that somebody recommended. It was called Ikigai.
Yeah,
The
that's a very
Japanese
popular
book. And I read it, and there's definitely stuff in it, but a lot of it is common sense. And I felt that, okay, yes, it's lovely that somebody bothered to put all this in a book, and it's great and all that.
Yeah.
But this is stuff that I think people should just generally know in their lives. You know, I don't need to spend X amount of money and buy a very
Yeah.
pretty looking book. It looks very impressive on my bookshelf
Very
because
pretty
people say,
book. Yeah.
and people say like, oh wow, Ikigai எல்லாம் படிக்கிறியா? Wow, like nice.
Secret இதெல்லாம் இல்ல.
Secret. So you just kind of, you know, this, but that's what was so interesting about this book. And so can you tell me about the writing and why you decided to make it more than just a
Guidebook.
fitness
Yeah.
book?
So during the pandemic, வந்து இந்த இன்டென்ஸ் பேண்டமிக்னு ஒன்று இருந்துச்சுல்ல, மூச்சு கூட விடக்கூடாது நீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்ன ஒரு ரூல் டைம். அந்த டயத்துல தான் me being me, I can't just sit in one place. என்ன பண்றதுன்னு யோசிக்கும்போது I started journaling actually. And I was talking to a friend saying, after many years, I've started journaling. And that was the time when my dog died. I'm a very, very dog person. That dog was like a baby to me. So I journaled, and my friend said, why don't you just put this as like a manuscript or something? So I wrote like a few chapters, and then this particular friend of mine, he said, send it over to a publication. And I just randomly emailed Penguin Random House. They immediately got back and said, we love the manuscript. Please develop it into a book. In that, my confusion started. A, I didn't know that they will approve it and send a reply.
Right.
பி, என்ன எழுதுறதுன்னு எனக்கு தெரில. ஸோ இது வந்து என்னோட சினிமா ஜேர்னியாக எழுதுறதா, மீடியா ஜேர்னியா, இல்லை வந்து ஒரு ஃபிட்னஸ் புக்காக எழுதுறதா, லைக் யூ ஆர் சேயிங். பட் ஹூ am I to give advice to people? So then I partly decided like I'll make it like a memoir. ஸோ அந்த மெமோரில் வந்து இட் ஷுட் ஹேவ் மை ஜேர்னி ஆஃப் த குட், பேட் அண்ட் அக்லி. இது மூணையும் செக்மெண்ட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி I wrote different chapters. I did involve also a lot of my media experiences. So when I sent the whole bunch, which took about 8 months for me to write down and send it to them, I sent it to them, and then they had an editor. So that editor said, we'll make this all about your fitness journey and a guidebook together. Let's save all the media experiences for another book. So they discarded those chapters, and then this arrived, and it was 2 years. The entire journey of writing, because so many things, right? Like when a publication takes out your book, they have too many things to follow up with. Like உங்களோட thesis papers கேட்பாங்க, for இந்த ரிசர்ச்லாம் நீங்கள் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்களா, எப்படி இந்த ஃபேக்ட்ஸ்லாம் சொல்கிறீங்க, disclaimers போடணும், you're addressing topics about anxiety and all that. People need to be aware. How sure are you of what you're putting?
Right.
If I'm pointing out a person's name, are they okay with this? So it was a lot of layers to handle too.
I think that's what's interesting in the whole scheme of things, that you decided to put yourself into the book and not just give a bunch of do this, do that, do this, do that.
People will
kind
buy
of a
that.
thing.
I don't.
A lot of people buy that.
Yeah.
So when this journey of Ramya is what I think is interesting about the book, and I want to finish by asking you this. It's like if you don't mind sharing, um, what's been the highest point of your life and what's been the lowest point of your life, and how did you handle those situations?
I'm not able to point one highest point of my life, but I think when I was like young and I was seeing people around me, by people I mean to say my classmates, my friends, struggling for a job, and there were some experiences where I still remember என்னோட ஒரு ad filmக்கு நான் நடிக்க போறேன். I'm the main person there, and one of my friends are working as an AD, and the director is giving an instruction saying just go and adjust your sari and all that, and she's doing it for me. I felt very bad, like I wouldn't call that as a highest point of my life, but I was very grateful that இவ்வளோ ஏர்லியாக நமக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஜாப் ஃபுல்ஃபில்லிங்காக நமக்கு பிடிச்ச மாதிரியே கிடச்சி we're able to be we sorted அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃபீல் வந்தது. How I handled it is I was too young to understand. That was a time when people took care of me. I was just going and dressing up and doing the job and coming back, so I didn't know much about it.
Did a little bit of it go to your head that like
It might have. I don't know if I was proper in the way I handled it with the people around me. In the sense, அதே ஃப்ரெண்டு கிட்ட வந்து அன்னைக்கு நான் வந்து இப்போ இருக்கிற ரம்யாவா இருந்தா I would have just called up and checked in on her later, and had a friendly conversation, said like we've been caught up in a long time, let's catch up, how you. But அன்னைக்கு வந்து I was just flashy and talking to her saying okay then bye, see you அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வந்துட்டேன். Again, I was naive. The age is different. It was in a different phase of life. இப்போ lowest point of life அப்படின்னா I wouldn't again be able to point one. There's several happening. It's now and then coming in and going. But I feel like the main big one was when my personal life and the decision I took in my marriage was just too much exploited, and it didn't see coming. The thing is, நிறைய பேர் வந்து அவங்க பர்சனல் லைஃப்ல எடுக்கிற டெசிஷன்ஸை வந்து வெளில சொல்றது இல்லை. இப்பெல்லாம் லைம்லைட்ல இருக்கிறவங்க இது என் லைஃப், இந்த 10% is my personal life. I felt like I owe it to everybody because they know about me, and I expressed it outside openly, for which I was backlashed. And suddenly this girl next door, our Ramya, our VJ Ramya, became something else. And what upsetted me was more than the men, it was women who I thought is my community putting me down to shame. So that was a low point. It is still a constant challenge, I would say, because somewhere I feel like a lot of people think like at this age I'm supposed to be boxed, right? I'm supposed to be a mother, or I'm supposed to be doing certain things. And when I'm not doing that and I'm living my life, having a career, wearing the clothes I want to, being happy and peaceful
and healthy,
and healthy, it's upsetting for a lot of people. And I don't know why that is, which comes across in various ways, especially on social media.
It's upsetting because you're not in a box.
I'm not in a box.
That's people find it difficult to handle that.
Yeah. And while I can understand totally the reason why they're doing what they're doing, and now I don't care much about it because I don't even read those comments and I'm not aware of it. It doesn't really change anything for me. Like I still live life the way I want to. How I handle it is by constantly keep reminding to myself that this is not about me. It's about their life and whatever is happening out there for them. And for me, it's just I've made my world very small. It's my home, my family, my friends, and this routine that I keep doing to make space for me, and setting up little goals and trying to attain them. அவ்வளவுதான். அதுக்கு மீறி நான் அப்படியே வைடா எதுவுமே யோசிக்கிறது இல்லை. And I think that kind of comfort and satisfaction is enough for me to handle the worst of situations.
That's good to know. I'm happy we spoke. It was actually an easy conversation. It was like talking to a friend. And thank you so much for for writing this book. Like the memoir is a great thing because it's like how you see some films and sometimes you identify with one character because you've been through that and you don't think anybody else has been through it. And suddenly you're like, or you don't want to talk about it and ask, have you been through it? Have you been through it? But then when you see it on screen, you're like, oh my God, somebody kind of knows what I'm going through. Like it was very nice the way you kind of put your personal pieces into it. And I think I hope you stay. What are the three things? Healthy, happy, and peaceful.
Thank you. That's big. That's big. Actually, somewhere I wanted a medium to speak out and say what I want to say in my own language without it getting misconstrued by anybody else. And that's why the book happened. And I'm so glad and relieved that you are my role model. you are saying this to me, and today this is happening. It's a moment I will always go back to and remember that, this happened. And thanks to the book, it happened. So thank you so much for your time also.
And thank you for coming on Galatta Plus.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Experience 10 days of Grand Europe trip for easy EMI of Rs 25,000 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Wonder Diamonds, South India's largest lab-grown diamond brand, stores at Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore and Hyderabad.